And we're back. Sorry about that. Got a time limit for now. So anyways, yeah, the people here don't want to admit it, and they want to say that it's all junk and whatnot, but these players don't want to necessarily have to do, some do, and that's fine. The traditional and everything that's been the way it's been tour.
Yeah. I
Some
mean,
do, and that's fine. I mean,
just name another sport that the traditional is what decides how the way forward is. It's just not like
I would say MLB's done a pretty good job to try to keep it that way, but even they've had to do stuff.
they had to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
Not the least of
So
which is the pitch count, which is a big deal.
yeah, and it is hasn't even necessarily fixed the problems. You know that why are they not using salary caps like the NFL? I don't get it.
Well, I think the MLB's bigger problem is they got so much money that it's going to take a while for them to hurt enough to have to
Probably.
make bigger to have to make
Well,
bigger changes like what you're talking
and
about.
and that's what I tell the people in Boston. I'm like, look, you got how many million people all summer long? They got nothing to do and 166 games to watch. You could hate the owner with the utmost passion. Y'all gonna turn on the TVs and watch games anyways, and they know it. And that's where they make the most money, so they don't care. What's that? What's that? Not Ichiro. What's that dude's name? L.A.
Oh,
The Dodgers. They signed not Ichiro,
yeah,
but
the guy that pitches and hits home runs,
yeah. What it was
Atani or something.
Otani? Yeah, Otani. Jeez, 500 gazillion dollars, Otani. That's cool. I'll defer it. I make like 30 million a year in endorsements, anyways. I don't need it. Even
Yeah,
better, they get to sit on a pile of money that's accruing ridiculous interest and keep the interest and then hand him that money in whatever it was 15 years from now. They don't care.
yeah,
the amount of the amount of billions they're going to make over that time period from TV revenue and the interest alone, like you got it, Otani. Let's do this. Like
yeah,
it's just it's stupid at this point for them. So the players win, sorta, and the teams win, and the owners win, and the fans kind of take it right up the keister. So
yeah.
I don't know.
So yeah. Anyways, like we were talking about, and we've been talking about this for a few years. It's a little bit humorous for me to watch a bunch of want to keep it the same way minds slowly lose grip, and then it's like every time they clearly have lost another part of their grip, it's Jay Monahan comes on and makes it sound like, you know, it's all hunky dory or something. And I mean, the poor guy, like, don't mean to poke fun at his health scare, but he clearly had a health scare last year, which I'm sure is in no part due at all to the stress that all this has put on him. But it's like, geez, just stop trying to hold on to something that's already gone.
Yeah, yeah. But that's what he's paid to do. I mean, the I'd love to know, and this is the other bigger problem behind all this. Like we at least know the owners in baseball and know the owners in football. Like the PGA Tour is the largest
Yeah.
sport that I know of, the largest sport that we don't know the names of the people who are actually calling the shots.
Yeah.
Monahan is just Goodell. Like, who the hell cares?
Yeah.
But he's put up there like he's some kind of figure of some type that has
Yep.
any real. He don't have no power. It's whoever's true. Like we know, kind of, sort of. I mean, we know Augusta National's involved, but we can't say that it's Fred Riley or whoever is the actual person over there telling in these meetings what Monahan needs to go say. We know they're
Yep.
involved. We know the USGA is involved. We know the RNA is involved. So we know the large parties that are involved. What we don't know are the unnamed OGs, whether
Right.
it might be like the CEO of Ford or it might be the CEO of IBM. Like We don't, they're never talked about and they're never mentioned on purpose to keep them the hell out of this. But those are some of the people that are actually running a lot of this stuff behind closed doors.
Okay, so this reminds me of something. So I heard something, I don't know if it was on like one of the last episodes of Full Swing or it was something else, but something to the tune of, and like I think Cantley is one of the main guys, something to the tune of these PGA Tour professionals are leading what is now the PGA Tour in some capacity from a business perspective.
No, fake.
They don't, okay. Well,
So what they've done for years is they've made up these different things. So first there was like a to avoid almost like a union, there was kind of like a sort of internal union created, sort of. And then there
okay.
was, okay, we need a player advocate of some type to be able to voice the opinion of the players, as if one guy could take 190 golf professionals and say in one word what they're all thinking and feeling. Yeah, right. So then it became basically an evolution process of things where they basically been told. So they call it the players tour. Why? Because they've set it up to where the players have their own voices now in certain meetings, not the ones that matter, certain meetings, and they have their six, people that are on the board, as they call it, not the real board. It's the player board, it's
Yeah.
the PGA Tour board that get to come to the meetings with Monahan and basically try to voice their opinion, what should happen. And Monahan go, okay, I hear you, boys. You got it. You're my boys. I'll do this for you. It's all you. It's all. And then he goes back behind closed doors and talks to these other people that I'm talking about. And if they don't
Yeah.
like what they brought to the table, Monahan has to go back to the next meeting and go, sorry, boys, I can't do this for you.
Yeah.
So what they've tried to make it sound like it is that the players have true power in running this tour. That ain't the truth. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. The
Well, interesting.
sponsors, the sponsors of
Yeah.
each event, the governing boards of golf, and whoever these other people are that never put their face in public ever as being attached to this, they're the ones calling the shots. Because in the big picture, it's kind of the same for MLB. And the difference in MLB or NFL, probably NHL, except I don't know with detail, and NBA, is that the players are getting a much bigger piece of the entire pie. Now, the owners are still getting a much bigger piece than the players are, but the reality is that, and again, this is part of the this is just part of the problem. The PGA Tour has been nonprofit, 503c section 5 do whatever company, so that they don't
Yeah.
have to report nothing. They can lie about it and stash money hand and fist under all kinds of corners and mattresses and stuff. And they've been doing it for a long time. Players caught wind of it, including Greg Norman way back in the day, and they said, wait a minute, we're the ones out there doing all the work. What the
Right.
heck is going on around here? And that's how this
Yeah.
literally all this stuff got started.
So there's an article here in Golf Week yesterday where Rory McIlroy said, "We are golfers at the end of the day. We don't need to be trying to run a $15 billion business. We need to go out there and play golf and let the business people do the business things."
Which is true. But what they
Yeah.
don't like is because it was a non-for-profit company. So the company, simple numbers, the company could have actually brought in, let's say in reality, $10 billion. Well, they made it sound like they were giving so much money to the players that they were actually losing money. Well,
Yeah.
you go look at the purses and the money involved from say 2023. It don't add
Yeah.
up to a hill of beans compared to $10 billion. That's for sure. And that's how they figured out something was fishy. Something ain't going on right.
Which is why they've just granted these equity amounts to the players, which effectively comes out to be similar to what they would have gotten if they would have gone to live, which is kind of what they've been saying.
Yeah. Except they can't sell it. at least for what you said, 8 years.
Well, I mean, well, it says it takes 4 years to be vested at 50%, and then 6 years at 70, which is a little silly. It'll be interesting to hear what comes out this week about that, if anything. I mean,
Oh, it's already being talked about. Trust me. In my
yeah, oh, I'm
opinion,
sure.
only from the limited information I have been able to attain, in my opinion, this is basically tour player advocacy board 3.7. Instead, but all they're saying is, okay, we're gonna make profit now. We're gonna give
Yeah,
you a big chunk of it, and now we're gonna report our numbers, but you're not really gonna see any of it. We're just kind of pretending like you're gonna get a part of it.
yeah,
That's my opinion. Because here's the next problem. Here, and this is one of the legit questions. Okay, you're 32 now. You'll be 40 when you get to this vesting period, right? And
yeah.
this is assuming that the tour is doing good. So you're telling me, okay, while I'm done, I'm gonna move on Champions Tour in a few years. I'm just gonna take a break, sell my shares. And you're telling me that some kid off the KFT tour who's like barely clearing 40,000 a year is gonna be able to buy this 950 million worth of shares that Tiger's got? How's
Yeah,
that gonna work? And how do you
yeah,
create? And are you just gonna create new made up, monopoly money when the KFT guys make the tour then every year? Where do their
yeah,
shares come from? They're not gonna be able to buy them. They ain't got no money. I don't understand. I don't
yeah.
know. I it makes me think in 8 years we're all gonna be sitting here going, now what, boys? I don't know. To me, it feels like it's another trick, but I could be wrong.
Yep.
And
Interesting.
maybe it's just the current. Maybe it's just the gap filler to get
Yeah.
so that we get
Well,
further. We get through the 2024 season, and then we really kind of start to figure out how are we going to get players appropriately pointed. Maybe some concessions need to be made on the live tour, and they've talked about it. They've already been talking about 72 holes as a possibility, maybe. And whatever, I don't care. I really could care. I mean, those parts of this whole thing mean absolutely nothing to me. I don't give a crap. Like they just granted OWGR points to another small tour in Europe, and guess what they do? They play all 54 hole tournaments. What are we doing
so here's a
here?
question. Yeah, so here's a provocative question, because if they wouldn't have granted these equity stakes, which I'll just go ahead and say is still a band-aid at best. If they wouldn't have done it, here's my question. Who are the next 1 to 3 golfers who would have gone to the live? Now, here's the other sub question. If Rory already had his Grand Slam, meaning he had already won his other major, would he have already gone to live?
Gone. Peace out. Later tour. He would have done the same
So
thing.
this is not complicated to see, and it's just, to me, and I said this to you a few years ago, like, well, I mean, like, listen, there's a lot we're not going to know for a while, or 2 years ago, whenever it was. But like, at the end of the day, money is always going to talk. They play golf for money. They want to optimize their income just like every other human being on the planet, and there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. And they want to be compensated relatively fairly, and they don't own the business, but they are the business, and so it's only a matter of time. So again, I think if he had his fifth major, he would have already been gone. So let's take Rory out of the answer, because that's probably
Well,
why he's still there. Who would have been the next 2 or 3 that would have probably already gone to live?
so first, more importantly for Rory, if you had the green jacket, bye bye. Peace out. Take care. It's
Right.
not just the fifth
Yep.
major. F the fifth major. I've already worn. I'm already a major champion. I'm already past that part. Green jacket.
Yeah.
Lifetime exemption to the Masters is the only thing that keeps this fight going in reality. The
Good
next,
point.
gosh, of who's left that would go or just that should go.
So again, it's a hypothetical, but let's say that the PGA dug their heels in even more and did not do this equity thing. And let's say 3 months from now, they still hadn't done it. Who were going to be the next PGA players that were going to go, yeah, this is crazy. I'm going to live.
I'll say this: it's hard to say because you don't know if they're telling us the truth or not when they say what they say.
No, we
Xander,
don't know. It's just a, yeah. Yeah.
Xander, Cantley, Rory, Scotty, Hovland, Morikawa.
And out of those, who's won a green jacket? Scotty
Scotty for
Hovland
sure.
won, didn't he?
Cantley finally won one, didn't he?
No, I don't think so. But Hovland
Hovland,
won one, didn't he? He did not.
I thought he came up short that year. Why my brain not working? Cantley's what does Cantley won? Uh, Colin, no. Uh, uh, Xander, no.
No, Hovland hasn't.
Hovland, I didn't think he got second or third. I
Cantley
don't.
has not.
I thought
So
Cantley
here's
must
the
have
next
won.
question:
Yeah,
Who has won a green jacket that is still on the PGA Tour? Spieth
Jordan has.
and
Um,
Thomas is
Jor-
not.
Jordan is
Tiger.
tied. Well, Tiger's in it. He's not even technically on tour,
I'm
so
just saying though. Like I know.
he's in a different ball. I mean, he can't even play the tour technically. So,
No, I
um,
know. I know.
yeah. So you got you Spieth. Well, Spieth grew up with Thomas, and he's pretty much going to go where Thomas goes. So that's kind of how my opinion is on that.
Justin
Green Jackets
Thomas.
on tour right now. I can't.
Spieth is the only one I can name.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, that's so. This goes back to as this was all dwindling down, right? Um, it was in my and I don't know if you and I talked about this, but I know I put it on Twitter or somewhere at some point. But anyways, it was in my opinion that um I can't
Okay,
get
I
this
got it.
listed. It was my opinion that all of this.
Matsuyama and Matsuyama, Scheffler, and
Oh,
Spieth are pretty much
Decky.
it.
Yeah, Decky. I forgot about Decky's win. Decky's a unique. That's a whole nother ball game. It was my opinion that when
So
this all started to break out, right? When this all, and then there was lots of arguments about lots of stuff. I said, look, it comes down to this: the majors are in control. What they decide is going to tell us how this all goes. Now it's
yeah,
gotten to the point where the other three majors kind of. Now, here's what's interesting: some new information, by the way. Yesterday, today, maybe I'll get to that. The majors we're going to make now. It's the Masters is in control because they're the most unique of the bunch. There's no qualifying into via sectionals and technically the OWR you can get into the match, but it's such a small amount. It kind of counts, but not really. So they now hold the ultimate, and they're the only tournament with the lifetime security. You win, you're in. Bubba
yep,
Watson can go around the world buck naked playing golf for the rest of his life, and they can't tell him no.
yep,
It's the only tournament on the planet that exists like that. So the others put their feet in the ground, said, bad, bad live. No more, don't come back. And then guess what happened here just today, I think, or yesterday? The European Ryder Cup said, that's it. We don't care no more. John Rahm and Terrell Hatton are playing in the Ryder Cup from now on. So after all that,
crazy.
and they didn't get to play in one of the biggest Ryder Cups ever that they won, they probably would have smoked us by about another 9 points that don't even exist. And they said, no, we're
So
not doing it. We don't care. You play on the puppy dog tour. We don't care. If you're one of the best players from Europe, you're coming back and you're playing on our team, period. The end. Because they want to now dominate the Ryder Cup. They
sure.
can see
So
the mess that's
yeah.
going on in the US right now.
So full circle. I
They
think
can
this is a
dominate the
really
Ryder
interesting
Cup.
point.
Yeah, they can dominate the Ryder Cup for years to come. So they're like, Brom, Terrell, get back over here. You boys are good. Which
Yeah.
really all that tells us
So
is by the time 2024 is over, most likely they're also going to be willing, or they're going to give them the ability to come back and play on the DP World Tour anytime they want to.
yeah,
That dominance
full
falling.
circle, and then I gotta jump out of here. But
Yeah.
as I think through this, it's interesting to think back to what I asked, which is, were it not for this equity stake, which again I totally see as a band aid, especially if they literally can't touch any of that for 4 years. Gotti, Hideki, and Jordan Spieth are the only three, realistically speaking, that have not migrated to live already and have won a Masters and have a green jacket. I therefore would say Jordan would be the next most likely of the three. To your point, though, it's probably going to be he's a little more traditional. Could take a while. And then, but if he doesn't start playing better golf, I could see him going there. And then Justin Thomas, he's probably just waiting for this thing to work itself out, and then he's down. Like, see ya.
Well,
Now I know him and Tiger Woods are super close, but like, is the dude supposed to not go to live and forego all that money just because him and Tiger are boys and Tiger's a traditional PGA guy?
that dam's going to break at some point, no matter what. But the reality is, I think what they're really waiting on is a realistic resolution to eventually come to pass of some type.
Yeah.
And what has to happen, because I will say this for these guys, and I don't blame them for feeling this way. I'm okay with this part of it. They still hold a lot of traditional value too, because they came up under Tiger. They hold a lot of traditional value to the tournaments that all of us do still care about on the PGA Tour. I still care about the tournaments. I don't hate them. I'm like, I don't want to see them go away. I don't want to see them diminished. I don't want to see the rankings down, but they are. And what they still want to do is they will still want to put their cap on when they're 72 and say, I won 14 PGA Pebble Beach tournaments, and I won 13 of the Torrey Pines, and I won 7 of Jack and Arnie's tournament. They still want to have the legacy factor. The legacy factor means more to them currently, or they're lying. I mean, it's possible. They're just straight up lying to us about that, which I guess that's a thing.
I don't think they're lying. I think they're saying what they want to be true. But the
Probably.
truth is, at some point in time, the money will ultimately talk. And I respect him for saying it, but it's what John Rahm, I think, has most genuinely said. But it's also consistent with what Dustin Johnson said. I just think, candidly, John Rahm is more convincing and truly humble and candid about it in a humble way, which is at the end of the day, I'm going to make the decision that provides best for my family, meaning
Mm-hmm.
money and time with them. And he has said that consistently since his decision to go to live. And he said it humbly and he said it respectfully. But back to a Justin Thomas, a Jordan Spieth, and frankly, eventually even a Scotty Scheffler, in my opinion, because he's not going to win. He's not going to be the number one tour on golf forever. If something doesn't give with the PGA, they're going to be like, yes, I care about all this legacy, but there is a point in time where we cross this amount of cost that it's no longer worth it. And it's a shame that you're still digging your heels in. So therefore, bye. Like that's inevitable. It's it's the free markets doing what free markets do.
Yeah, you would think so. I mean, that's my opinion too. But the problem is that they're also caught in the crosshairs of America media, because what you just said about Ron, the American media says he's a lying sack of you know what. That son bitch sold us out for money. He don't care about nothing but himself. He's full of crap,
Yeah.
and that's what people hear over here all the time. So they're saying
Yeah.
humble my patoot. He ran for the money. He's a sellout. He ain't American anyways. I never liked that guy. Get out of here anyways. That's what people say over here.
Yeah.
So I think there's a
Yeah.
combination of why they've waited, and I think that they truly believe that by 25 we might finally have something that allows maybe people to kind of just go wherever they want to play. Period. The end. But it may not happen, which is what you're alluding to. If we get to freaking January of 25 and we're in the same boat and it's just arguing and bickering and just money slashing all over the place, yeah, somebody's eventually going to go, nope, never mind. You ain't fixed nothing here. I'm going there because I got a better deal. I believe what you said is probably true.
Well, and it's interesting. Let's wrap on this because I really do need to get going. But I think now that you got SSG, which, as we talked about earlier, has sponsors who care and expect a return.
Damn right they do.
And you're seeing the good old PGA lose less and less control over this entire thing because they are, whether anyone cares to admit it or not, there's going to be some version of either two very similar formats, one being what is right now PGA and becomes known as something else and live, or it's going to come together. And like, it's just a matter of time. If I'm Greg Norman and live, I'm going just like he just did. Okay, have your world golf rankings. You're going to lose this. It's a matter of time. At this point, I'm just tired of it, and we're having enough success that you're now just a distraction. So go have a hissy fit. We will win. It's a matter of time. And in the meantime, worst case, more of the PGA tours will come to live. Like that. That's the bottom line of it all.
I think you're gonna have somebody, whether it be JT or somebody, that is going to hold out just for the sake of it. I mean, just maybe, and maybe at least one of them truly just because they grew up under it and they're just sad and they don't want to see their PGA Tour go away, and they might hold out, and there might be two or three of them even, but
Yep.
at some point
And
in
again,
time, huh?
no, go ahead.
No, but at some point in time, it's just all of this can't keep continuing the way it's been because no matter who you are, there's a large portion of the golf fan that has already left, which means
Yep.
it's even capable of happening more. And that's got to get fixed at some point, no matter what, because period, the end, even Tiger knows that. So I think there's a lot
Well,
more going on than what anybody knows in reality.
and this might be a fun way to end it, and we can pick up on it the next time. I personally have not gotten to a point where I enjoy watching live golf on TV. I still enjoy watching most of the PGA Tour, especially the majors, of course. I thoroughly enjoy that. So it's interesting. It's like I clearly don't love how the PGA Tour is digging its heels in, and I don't frankly enjoy watching live golf on TV yet. No, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's just not. I'm not like I don't enjoy it
It's not your
yet.
thing.
Maybe I
Yeah.
will one day. And so to your point, I'm kind of annoyed with the PGA Tour and their traditionalists who are just ignoring the reality of things. And I don't necessarily love watching live. I don't disagree with live per se, I guess. I choose not to get into all the politics of it because I just think it's not my
Yeah.
place and I just don't have a strong opinion. When it comes to, I'm talking about a sport, and I know there's a lot of very strong feelings out there about it, and I respect that, and I may change my mind on that one day, but I just I don't disagree with the free market enterprise, and I also don't enjoy watching that format. I do enjoy watching this one, but I don't agree with the we're going to dig our heels in and you can leave if you want to, and we're still going to be us. Well, no, you're not, and that's just a dumb, you know, stance to take. So I don't know. Maybe
Mhm.
SSG fixes that. Who knows?
Maybe. What I do love hands down though is this. I just like watching good players play golf, period. But I do love that you could have on your screens every player for every shot, for every live tour event. We only have that in one, the Masters. That's it. So they're doing it
Yeah,
right on
true.
that part, right? And I also think it's very cool to be able to say, you know what, in 4 hours, this round is over. Not we get to the end of the day and we still haven't finished the damn round because there's no more sunlight. I hate that kind of
Yep,
stuff.
true.
So,
Yep. Okay,
but I don't
I got to
care.
run.
As long as I can watch the best golfers, I really don't care. So,
Yep.
anyways, so all right. I don't know what time we got to on this one, but I guess that's part two of two. Two of two. There we go. Cart Bros out.
See you next week.